Game development is tremendously difficult, especially if it's something you're doing by yourself, and even more so if you're doing it for a medium that isn't mainstream. So imagine how difficult it must be to be an independent horror game developer. Emika Games is exactly that, an indie horror game dev that's been releasing games on Steam since the spring of 2020. Their most recent release, a game titled Summer of '58, has become the victim of people abusing Steam's refund policy. If you weren't aware, if it's been less than 2 weeks since purchase, and you have 2 hours or less on a Steam game, then you decide you don't like it, it's fairly easy to submit a refund request and get your money back. However, Summer of '58 is a small horror game, with playtime to completion coming in at just under 2 hours, and the cost of the whole game only being $8.99. This has led to a decent amount of players playing through the entire game, likely enjoying the experience, but still issuing a refund request since the playtime was so low. This is, in my eyes, extremely unethical as a consumer. Not only are you getting entertainment for free when you shouldn't be, but you're also screwing the developer out of compensation for their work that you experienced the entirety of. Due to this occurrence, Emika Games tweeted this on August 26th. "Friends, thank you for all your support. I'm leaving game development for an indefinite time to collect my thoughts. The fact is that my game Summer of '58 does not reach 2 hours of playing time by Steam standards. In this regard, a huge number of returns on the game, even with positive reviews, and I do not earn anything to create a new game. Thank you very much for supporting me. I'm very glad that you like my games, but since I have no conditions to do something new, I have to do something else. I will immediately answer everyone who asks about from day to day. This game will not see the light of day in the near future. See you later." This is simply tragic. Now, I'm sure there were genuine refunds from people who weren't enjoying the game, but I'm comfortable categorizing them in the minority since, as the developer stated, and as you can see here, all of their games have very positive ratings on Steam. Artists, and I do consider game development an art form, shouldn't have to conform to a specific refund policy just so people don't gyp them out of their work. Integrity shouldn't be sacrificed just to stretch itself to a 2-hour minimum. The developer elaborates on this idea in another tweet with a fairly cute metaphor to go along with it. "I want to create games without artificially prolonging the time, so that the game does not get boring by the end, so they end up coming out at less than 2 hours. I think you've noticed that my games look like short stories, similar to the fact that you can watch a movie and not a TV series. I'm not offended by those people who returned the game because they did not like it or because of technical problems, but if a person went through to the end and returned the game, it can be compared to the fact that he ate all the pizza, but didn't like it, and just returned the box and his money." Now, I'm an advocate for trying out indie games from smaller developers, because it could give them inspiration and drive to continue their creative journeys and one day create something groundbreaking. I've been playing indie horror games ever since I was a kid, mostly the free-to-play ones, since, I was a kid, and there's an ocean of great content out there that never gets noticed by the public eye. I used to follow an indie developer by the name of David Szymanski, ever since 2014 when I played his horror game Fingerbones for free on Steam. Since then, I would purchase and play every game he released. Not all of them were fantastic, not all of them were polished, but I could tell they had a lot of heart and passion put into them. And guess what he went on to release in 2018? Dusk is a critically acclaimed game with overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam, enjoyed by tens of thousands of people, and began a resurgence of games that have the same sort of original Doom retro style to them. I was surprised when I found out that the same developer who made all these slow-burning games back in 2014 and 2015 made this, and that's why it's so important to support these kinds of developers in situations like these. So yes, I did purchase Summer of '58 and played it all the way through. I did complete it in less than 2 hours, but I'm still missing 10 or so achievements, so there's still a lot of small details that I missed. And I can definitely say that this game has a lot of heart put into it. The story is really interesting, the environment is the same but continuously evolves and changes based on the paranormal events and plots, and best of all, it's pretty scary. There is a reliance on jump scares, but most of them are fairly effective and creatively implemented so that there's not just something screaming in your face. The graphics are pretty good, and the environment is full of auditory-based horror as well, approaching footsteps, whispers, that kind of thing. The English isn't perfect, but the plot is still fully comprehensible, and it does set itself up for a sequel based on the character you're playing as, which would be tragic to miss out on if the developer really does stop developing games. I know I have a small audience, but if any of you watching have an interest in this sort of slow-burning kind of horror game, I implore you to check it out. It's only $8.99, and as of the day I'm releasing this video, it's on sale for 23% off, which is even more worth it in my opinion. I'll personally be trying out each of this developer's games on my own time, and who knows, if any of them really make an impact on me, I might do a full in-depth review on them. Regardless if I do that or not, I still intend to spread my support for games and developers like these. It's where my passion for horror started. And maybe with mine, and the support of many others, we can keep developers inspired to create more groundbreaking things like Dusk. I've said everything I've wanted to say regarding this situation. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching. Expect more content related to independent games soon. See you next time.